Today, we are talking about what Venerable Langri Tangpa said. May I, both directly and indirectly, offer benefit and happiness to all motherly beings. All the sufferings and countless hardships of sentient beings who are like our loving mother, I quietly and silently bear them all myself. This is from Langri Tangpa's 8 verses of mind training. Everyone should be familiar with this. May I directly or indirectly benefit all sentient beings. Directly and indirectly take on the suffering of beings, silently bearing it myself, making this aspiration. Actually, this is a very profound teaching. Past masters and great masters in modern time often use this as a standard for their own practice and to hold themselves to. Langri Tangpa said, from analyzing all profound teachings, I see that all faults are my own and all virtues belong to the precious sentient beings. All the profound Mahayana teachings, if you understand their meaning, teach that all faults are mine and all virtues belong to sentient beings. Unlike ordinary people, we think all the merit belongs to ourselves. No matter what we say or do, in the end, we always believe we are right. All faults are pushed onto other sentient beings. The most important thing to understand here, and what truly matters above all else, is simply to offer victory and benefit to others, and to take loss and defeat upon oneself. This is the essential instruction that Langri Tangpa taught. In front of other sentient beings, whenever possible, accept more failure and loss and dedicate all benefit to them. A truly great bodhisattva would in fact act in this particular way. The Venerable One also said, Sharawa, the two of us, you and I, right here together, we have 18 human practices and 1 horse practice. Altogether, we have in total 19 practices. So what are these human practices? They refer to upon supreme bodhicitta, striving, practicing, benefiting. In other words, they have 18 practices for benefiting sentient beings. Generate bodhicitta in all positive aspects. They are great bodhisattvas. It is truly remarkable in here. The 18 may be a figurative number or maybe a traditional way of saying it. They say there are 18, for example, we have 18 good practices for cultivation. That's the meaning here. The horse practice he mentioned means to cherish yourself, which means it prevents bodhicitta from arising if it hasn't arisen. And if it has arisen, it won't remain or grow. So this is extremely dangerous, selfish mind. So about our practices, 80% of them are good, but there's just one practice of the selfish mind, and this is harmful to our bodhicitta. That's probably the intended meaning. It can be seen from this that the horse practice has more harm than good. Therefore, we should make every effort to completely eliminate it. As for the human practice, it is all benefit and no harm. So we must wholeheartedly and diligently cultivate it. This is absolutely very important to keep in mind. Ultimately, the essence of Mahayana Buddhism, see if I can break my ego. If self-clinging is not overcome, then Mahayana practice genuinely and truly cannot succeed in any meaningful way at all. Venerable Shawa also said, until you see your own self or this ego as the enemy, even your guru and others cannot benefit you. If we do not regard ourselves as being exactly like an enemy, then before that, no matter how powerful your Vajra master is, it is meaningless for them to transmit the Dharma to you. If we don't eliminate our self-clinging, it is truly extremely difficult, whether it is listening to the Dharma, practicing diligently, or anything else. If one is strongly attached to the self, it is indeed very difficult, not to mention ordinary teachers. Even if the Buddha appeared, it would be hard to tame such a person. But if you regard ego and see self-clinging has truly been harming me since beginningless time, and treat it just like an enemy, everything's beneficial, whether you rely on a teacher or practice yourself. Because if our mind already overcame self-clinging, then it will be gentle and harmonious. There will be no suffering in anything you do, but if not, then no matter where you are in the world or what you do, you will suffer. What I really hope is that in this present age that we live in, of incredibly short human lifespans, everyone will do their best to subdue this evil demon, which is self-clinging. This evil demon must be subdued. This is important. Otherwise, it will be very frightening. Regard self-clinging as the enemy and eradicate it, this is the method to expel. If we practice ways to defeat demons, in reality, it means we are often reducing our self-clinging. To completely eradicate it, which is a bit difficult for us ordinary people. But if in the past our selfishness was very strong, can we at least manage, if it used to be 99%, can we reduce it to 66% or even 77%? If so, then our practice is still meaningful. All harm comes from our self-clinging. Self-clinging is truly a kind of demon. People say I'm possessed, but actually this possession might just mean my self-clinging is extremely strong. If we let go of self-clinging a little bit, then the demon will naturally disappear. So for all the methods, as long as we see our own ego as the enemy, instead of seeing others as the enemy, that is very important. As Moa Geshe said, in our daily life, when we are smashing the tea bricks, breaking them apart, we should also think that we are fiercely smashing the head of our self-clinging. This is a pith instruction. Tea bricks, many people might not quite understand this. You see, in Tibet, in the past, tea came in large bricks. After carefully cutting off a piece of this tea, it would be placed in a tea mortar, this small piece of tea in a mortar. Next, take a different stone pestle, making sure it is clean and dry. Have you ever seen a tea mortar? The tea mortar is made of wood and the tea pestle is made of stone. Then you use this stone to slowly and carefully begin pounding with your hands, just like this. It's similar to how traditional Chinese medicine is chopped. The tea from our youth, all like this. But now it's different. They used to grind tea finely in the past, and only after pouring it into the pot to boil was it ready. In the past, it was common for every household to possess a set of tools specifically used for pounding. One was simply made of stone, and the other was made of wood. But now you don't see them anymore. When it's time, we can find some in our museum. We should be able to find some, right? One of these is the tea stone pestle, a traditional tool made from stone that was used to grind tea leaves into a fine powder. And the other is the tea mortar, that small vessel. When people smash tea, we can think of it like hitting my attachment. It's meant to destroy self-attachment. Actually, many geshes use this as a vivid metaphor. It may seem very simple. For example, when we brush our teeth, wash our face, or chop firewood, at these times, the Kadampa geshes, they all use these things to visualize the destruction of self-attachment. Chakawa Geshe also said, all blame goes to one, practice great kindness toward all. This is from 7 Points of Mind Training. All blame is placed on self-attachment. We cultivate kindness and compassion for sentient beings. Train in both giving and taking. Practice Tonglen. This is a practice that relies on wind and breath. The detailed method is found in the Great Oral Transmission. The Great Oral Transmission refers to Bodhisattva Togme Sangpo's work, which is a brief explanation of the oral transmission process of the 7 Points of Mind Training. We have already organized this material. Later, we may need to study this. If we do not study mind training methods now, sometimes it is very difficult to practice the great perfection successfully. So we should make some effort to keep training our mind. There's a little more to go. So in the brief explanation of the oral transmission, we have this teaching. Furthermore, the author of this work, Bodhisattva Togme Sangpo, also said, helping others is the root, so practice the exchanging method. Once you recognize self-grasping as the enemy, you abandon the other enemies you wanted to subdue. If we know that self-grasping is what we need to subdue, then subduing other enemies doesn't really mean much anymore. Recognizing virtues of sentient beings and hold all beings in highest regard. Togme Sangpo also said, with great compassion, may the suffering of others ripen upon myself, and may happiness and benefit ripen upon others. Practice exchanging self and others by uncontrived bodhicitta. Meanwhile, he himself also put this into practice, establishing such bodhicitta as the essential core of his practice. Because in this context, every teaching of Bodhisattva Togme Sangpo is placed after each section. The author here, Khenpo Kunzang, holds a deep and special reverence for the author of the 37 practices of Bodhisattva, Togmi Sangpo. Togmi Sangpo is indeed a great bodhisattva. For this reason, if we frequently recite the 37 practices of a bodhisattva, it should be easy for us to generate bodhicitta in our mind stream. For example, back when I was in school, one of my teachers at the time said that if students recite the 37 practices, their anger and hatred naturally subside. In recent years, there haven't been any fights. Originally, some of our Tibetan students were prone to fighting, but after having the students read it regularly in class, that's no longer the case. Students can't read. But generally in the past, one could study some traditional culture. At that time, it was also said that recite the 37 practices, their anger and hatred will naturally disappear. This is indeed the case. I hope that many people here today, some who may be very greedy, some people feel anger, and some who are ignorant, thinking themselves to be very clever. But whether on handling matters or understanding cause and effect, they are quite ignorant. In this case, the 37 Practices of a Bodhisattva is an extraordinary treatise which has been blessed by great masters of the past. If you can't read it or recite it once every day, then reciting it once a month or even just once a year perhaps should still be beneficial to you. It should bring benefit and help to increase bodhicitta in your mind stream. Like Togmi Sangpo, he puts core of all practice on exchanging self and others in particular and related aspects. Therefore, we too should practice in this proper and authentic way.
Bandharangara Badma Sodargye Bandharangara Badma Sodargye Bandharangara Badma Sodargye